Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds. Oh! Oh!
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Hello. Hi, everyone. Hello.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched The Haunting of Bly Manor.
The Haunting of Bly Manor.
They've come a long way since that Liam Neeson film.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it starts in the 60s, doesn't it?
Everything starts and ends with Liam Neeson.
Wasn't there a haunting in the 60s?
No, it's Liam Neeson, Tom.
That's true. He's the genesis point of all things, including but not limited to Star Wars.
I have a story. A ghost story.
Singing all willow waily by the tree that weeps with me. We lay my love and I beneath the weeping willow, and now
Yeah, we this when did this come out?
This came out 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, which maybe have given people enough time to have watched this series. We do The Haunting of Hill House. We did The Haunting of Hill House.
I think we might have. Yeah, actually, this was only a week because I think this came out last Friday.
October 9th is what I'm seeing.
Okay, so
here.
last Friday.
Okay, that's still enough time. I don't know.
It's enough time for people to watch it. Yeah.
I watched the whole thing in a day for some reason.
I think most people did. I wasn't able to, and like my social media timelines kept popping up with Bly Manor spoilers, and I was like, Jesus, people, please give me more than 24 hours to watch an entire season of television.
You needed 48 hours.
I did. Yeah, I finished it by the next day, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure normal people are still watching it. I guess let's start with Mike Flanagan again, Haunting a Hill House. This is his follow-up.
It's the follow-up. It's an anthology. There's a couple of connections, but they're not meant to connect.
Yeah.
There's a couple of like Easter egg connections.
Sure.
But that's it.
What did you think of this?
I really liked it.
Sweet.
I thought it was good.
I liked it too. I've been hearing a lot of criticism of this series.
So have I, and it's all along a similar point that I assume we'll talk about in the episode.
Yeah, I mean the first point I want to say is that this isn't really a horror series.
No, it's not. It's
more like a gothic drama.
Yes.
In fact, I'm looking at genre, and horror is not really mentioned. It's more under drama than it is under horror.
This is a gothic drama for sure.
I don't think it there was some parts that were creepy to me.
Yeah. And there's a couple of moments that are like nope. But mostly this is not scary.
No.
But it's not meant to be.
Yes.
Is the thing.
I would say it has a few other little issues along the way. It's sort of I think this is also, I don't know if you're the same way as me. It gave me everything I wanted. It didn't matter if something was stupid along the way, because it's just, this is like not an objective look at it. I just enjoyed myself watching this, you know?
Sure.
But there are weird issues with it, I thought.
Okay.
One being that it felt like they had to fill the time a little bit.
Maybe.
There's a couple episodes where I'm like, I'm not quite sure why they did that, and I have some questions about it.
Okay, I'd be happy to talk about this because I felt like some of the episodes were too long, but I didn't think that any of the episodes, like I didn't question an entire episode's existence, if that makes sense.
Well, it's not the questioning the existence. We could just go through the plot. This whole thing is told during a rehearsal dinner for Mark from the Room's wedding.
Yeah, it's Greg Sestero.
Greg Sestero doing a fine job having to just smile and laugh.
He gives a whole speech.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, he's doing fine. He's doing good. And this woman tells.
Oh no! No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. the other guy.
Gives a speech.
Yeah.
So they're all sitting around, and this lady starts telling a ghost story. Mm-hmm. For I assume 9 hours, they're sitting there listening.
Yeah, just listening to her ramble on.
Yeah, I would not last that. But and the story is about it's all British. They need a nanny to go to Bly Manor and take care of these weird little creepy kids.
It's more than a nanny. It's like a governess / teacher.
Their parents have died.
Yes. And their previous governess has died.
Yep. That's one thread of this. They never really get into the parents dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a weird one because they keep saying the way they died. Like they mention that.
Yeah, they mention it at least once.
And I kept thinking, oh, we're going to learn something about that. And then that's one of the episodes that I was like, I don't understand. It's the episode about the uncle where they go into his whole background. Mm-hmm. Did that ever matter?
His background?
And the alternate him?
The alternate him doesn't matter as much, but like his background matters a lot. It explains a lot of why he's so
why he's so distant,
why he's so absent, and why he insists on being absent. And
I guess that's what I am thinking of. Is it's not entire episodes, it's threads, plot threads. Like there's this whole thing where the uncle has this evil version of himself that he sees. It's not a ghost; it's just a psychological thing.
Right. It's just his guilt.
Yeah, and they do that a few times. The nanny, she who's the main character, she sees Ghost Harry Potter a lot, and it turns out to be a fiance that she broke it off with before he got hit by a truck.
Yeah, it's her whole. She loves him because he's her childhood friend, but she was never in love with him because we find out that she's actually gay.
Right.
And she's just sort of been trying to force herself not to be by marrying this dude, and then she ultimately can't go through with it. And then literally moments after she breaks it off with him, he steps into traffic.
Right. And like that all scans for her character. Mm-hmm. It's weird that there's a whole episode about it and that there's a whole ghost that isn't actually a ghost.
I don't think it's weird that there's a whole episode. It follows the same basic structure as Hill House, whereas each episode explains a specific character.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was weird that we had a whole episode that was getting into what happened to her up until she went to Bly Manor and accepted that job.
Right. And I mean, she is the main character.
Yeah, and the ghost is strange.
The ghost.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, is the thread of the ghost. Just like the thread of the separate uncle, the two uncles. It's interesting. And again,
it's just a narrative device to tell the story in a different way. Because otherwise it would just be him sitting there in his office having flashbacks. This at least giving him like an evil twin that's like needling him at least makes it a little more dynamic.
Yes, but it did make me. I kept thinking about what happened with the parents? Did he cause their death? It felt like there was going to be some sort of reveal there. That is kind of the reveal. Yeah. They go away because
kind of does cause their death.
Yeah. The episode that I'm actually the most curious about, though.
Okay.
Second episode. So we're going to skip around a lot, right?
We are. The second episode's the boarding school episode, right?
Yep. Okay. So the reveal that we get is that, and I assume this is based off the turning of the screw.
It's the turn of the screw, yeah.
Sure.
But it's very, very different. Okay. Just like The Haunting of Hill House was very, very different. Like Flanagan took the basic story and then made it into something entirely his own.
Right. The basic story is, I assume it's about the kids. And the reveal, twist of the kids is that they're being sporadically possessed by ghosts.
Yes.
And so they act older than they are because that they are. And they're also trying to protect the nanny. And they do a great job of this in the series of showing us pieces so that it seems weirder than it is. And then when it all comes together, you're like, oh, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
They lock her in the closet one night, and it's to protect her.
It's because the lady in white is out.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's things that you notice, like with Miles, the little boy, it's more aggressive because his ghost is more aggressive.
Yes.
But like when you first meet Flora, the little girl, like you're like, wow, this is an adorably precocious child. Like she's talking like an adult, and it's like, yeah,
right.
She is talking like an adult.
Yeah. Her little splendid thing.
Yeah, perfectly splendid.
yeah.
It's and it's because she's being inhabited by the ghost of an adult woman.
Right. And that's,
yeah.
But what I'm curious about is the second episode. It's about the boy at the boarding school. And he is, it's about him getting expelled.
Yes.
He's at the boarding school. He gets a message from his sister that says, come home. Mm-hmm. That's revealed at the end. But he has this relationship with the priest teacher.
His teacher, yeah.
Sure. And it's about like, they know his parents died and they're trying to like, go easy on him.
Yeah, Miss Jessel is dead at this point too. So like he's had parents and his governess die.
Right. So he's doing everything he can to get thrown out. He's picking fights, and he eventually kills the bird.
Yeah,
the teacher,
the teacher's pet bird. Yeah.
And what I'm curious about is that it's later revealed that that's the ghost's idea, right?
No.
He says to him later that the ghost says to him later that it says that's why we needed, like, he says, like, he mentions killing the animal to him.
I assume that Quint, who's the ghost, Peter Quint.
Yeah.
The Invisible Man.
Yes.
Is, he says, like, yeah, he does say that's why we needed you to do this. But Quint is not there with him because Quint can't leave the grounds.
Exactly, and that's what I was curious about. I
think he just got from the message, because the message says "come home" and it shows his sister. It shows dead Mrs. Jessel crying. So I assume that he just kept trying things until he got expelled, and then when he got home, the ghosts were like, "Okay, this is why we needed you to come home."
Okay. Yeah, because he mentions the bird like it feels like it was his idea, and I was like, it couldn't have been his idea.
No, and it couldn't have been. I think he's just trying to console Miles for all of the horrible shit he's had him do, which includes pushing Mrs. Groves down a well, which Miles doesn't remember doing.
Right.
But yeah, Peter Quint straight up murders people in Miles's body.
Yeah. Well, kids are unsuspecting, man.
It's quite a thing.
But I would say that prep room, if I had to pick the prep school, I would say that's the most expendable episode of this series.
Maybe. I think it's a good setup because it's early enough, and it's early enough on that we know something's wrong. We don't quite know what it is.
Right.
We know that his sister sent him some cryptic message that's making him do this.
Yeah.
And it explains a lot about, well, it gives you
what it does. It's a good red herring.
I was just about to say that. It's a red herring because it makes it seem like, oh, Miles is behaving weirdly on purpose
to protect his sister. Because that's the weird thing about this. And I mean, I like this, but there's basically two stories going on at the same time. Mm-hmm. There's two ghosts. I mean, there's more than two ghosts, but there's two
primary ghosts. Yeah.
There's the lovers who are trying to possess these kids, and completely unrelated, there's also this terrifying lady in white, this lady of the lake, who comes out at night and walks into a room and walks back, and we don't know why. And if you get in her way, she will snatch you. And they're related in the sense that one of the ghosts was caused by the other ghost.
Yeah.
They weave together well the plots. And I guess that's why Harry Potter Ghost, where I was like, I could have lost that, because I think they needed to be a little more ghost focused with just the two. We only really needed the two.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
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 I said this to you earlier, is that when we weren't recording, there's a part near the end where they introduce all the people the lady in white killed. The plague doctor
who we've been seeing in the background. Like, it does, that's one of the Easter eggs that connects it to Hill House,
right.
is that there's a lot of ghosts just incidentally in the background.
Right.
You'll just see them.
And my issue is, why not make those the Harry Potter ghost, and why not make those more central, because they actually have more of a meaning. They do with the little kid, the little doll-faced kid. Mm-hmm. Which we learn is all their faces. Why don't they do that more? Because when they showed the plague doctor and the vicar, I was like, oh, it would have been nice to have seen these people more, these ghosts. And actually, the way the bent neck lady and the weird cane motherfucker and the Haunting a Hill House have episodes. I wouldn't have minded a ghost episode for each of them, and then it all comes together at the end where we're like, oh, that's why they exist.
Yeah.
It just felt like there was a little too much focus on the wrong things, on the wrong ghost threads that didn't matter as much as those.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a mystery, it's a ghost mystery. And it would have been nice to see the pieces a little more clearly. That said, I still really enjoyed this series. So
yeah,
I just think there's room for improvement. I love Mike Flanagan kind of making a mythology to being a ghost.
Yeah, it's interesting that he approaches it in a completely different way than Hill House.
Yes.
We eventually learn, this is kind of a neat thing. Each episode title is the title of another short story by Henry James, who wrote The Turn of the Screw.
Oh.
And in point of fact, the story about the woman in the lake is an entirely separate short story of his.
Oh, that's great.
Where it's the woman who falls in love with this guy, and they get married, and she gets sick and dies, and her sister marries the guy, and because they're losing money, she wants to plunder the inheritance of fine dresses and gowns and fabrics and jewelry that she was leaving for her daughter. She goes to open it up to take it and sell it, and when she opens it up, she fucking gets super murdered.
Yeah. Super duper murdered.
Super murdered.
That's the only jump scare of the series. And
no, there's a few more, but that's the creepiest one.
Flanagan, I love. We're all up on his knob. And one of my favorite things about Mike Flanagan is he doesn't do too many jump scares, and then when he does, it's like Jesus.
Yeah.
He does the ones that count.
Yeah, because he doesn't. He'll throw it in when and it's not framed in a way that you're anticipating one.
Right. And he does them in weird ways. And she's holding up a dress.
She's holding a dress. Yeah.
And then the hands come out.
Shoot out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Start choking her ass.
You are not expecting it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's so unexpected that it's almost not scary, because it's such a surprise. You're just like, oh shit.
I will say, the bus, getting hit by a bus, that never not makes me laugh. And I know that's cruel of me, but when Harry Potter gets hit by a bus, he's having a terrible day, and he gets out of the car and he's immediately hit by a bus.
He is, in point of fact, having the worst day of his life.
Yeah.
His fiance has broken up with him at a restaurant the night before they're supposed to get married.
Yeah. He's been dealt a real bad hand, and then he gets out of the car and gets immediately hit by a bus, and I just went, ha! It happened. Because it's just oh, of course.
It's just the universe shitting directly on this man's head.
Yeah. I like the look of his ghost, because the idea of him is, again, he's not a ghost. She just sees him.
He's guilt, yeah.
He's positioned in the last moments of his life, so his eyes are lit up, and you don't know why until you realize it's the reflection of the bus
headlights. Yep.
Yeah.
So it just looks like this ghost with blazing eyes.
Yeah.
This show treats ghosts as emotions.
Yeah.
Except for Peter Quint and Miss Jessel, who have
the literal ghosts.
They have more fully formed characters. Less Miss Jessel, though. Actually, it's mostly Peter. Miss
Yes.
Jessel is still kind of, she hasn't really gotten a grip on her situation the way that he has.
She starts doing ghost. She ghost tricks Peter at the end.
She does. Yeah, she does. She has a
Peter-
flare up of conscience at the end.
Yeah, there's a weird moment that I know had to be done because Peter had to learn this, is when he disappears for a while and he comes back and she's like, "Where's you been?" And he's like, "I've been doing some like ghost research." I forget how he words it, but he's been like, he has to learn what the house is.
He's been wandering the house, and interacting, watching the different ghosts.
Yeah. Which I like the idea that he's like asking around and like going
it's like
to the
they
ghost
do a thing-
library.
There's an element we haven't discussed yet, and that's when you get folded into a memory.
Yes, and I love.
yeah.
This is the part I love. Go on. Sorry.
This is, you might be better at explaining it then, but essentially, when you're a ghost, at least in the rules of this universe, you are trapped within a specific memory when you're not physically present in the house, and the memory keeps drawing you back in. So you only have a limited amount of time to actually be independent and walking the grounds and getting stuff done. But as it goes on, it seems like Peter figures out a way to get more control over it. Because the show has a lot to do with like the main ghost, and the fact that there's ghosts in the house at all is because of the sheer will of a single person.
Yeah.
Just the angriest fucking ghost in history.
Yeah.
But so when they possess the kids, or when they possess anyone rather, the kids get knocked back into a specific memory that they just live in. And it's an interesting element because it's partially comfort, but it's also a kind of hell. Like there's a Twilight Zone episode that's like this.
It's depending on the memory you get trapped in.
Yeah.
And what you feel you deserve. Like it's all on them. This is what
with the kids, it's interesting. With the kids, it's pleasant memories. They're with their parents.
Yeah. And that's the deal they've made with these kids, is they're like, if we possess your body, you'll get tucked away into this memory and you'll never have to be without your parents.
You'll get to live there, and they call it your forever house, which is another wink to Hill House.
They'll never have to grow up. They'll just be tucked away in these memories. And
your parents are still alive. Everything is still nice in these memories.
And since kids are dumb, you can trick the kids into this.
You can. This is a really, like, I remember watching this with Marina, and when the full scope of their plan becomes clear in that episode where they've tied up Danny, the governess, and they're trying to figure out what to do with her, and then Peter's like, "Okay, it's got to be now. You guys got to get tucked away forever now."
Right.
Like when the full scope of his plan became clear, I looked at Marina. I was like, "Man, Peter's evil. This is just like an evil scheme."
Oh yeah, and he never really gets justice, but it's like he's desperate.
And they do an interesting thing. It's one of the reasons why I like Flanagan so much. And we talked about this not recording. Is that he explores all of the emotions that surround horror and that like surround death. Like this show is very much about the emotional baggage that death creates and carries with it.
Right.
But we spend so much, like Peter's an odious character, but we spend so much time with him that you end up feeling sorry for him.
Yeah, and we see what his hell is and all that. And he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. He's like helping the kids in his own way.
Right.
I mean, while he was alive, he was still a shitty character too.
He was shit, but like you understood him. Like I don't know.
You do, because like his, when he's talking about stealing, he's like, do you think these people are going to keep you around when you get old? The help?
Yeah, when he's talking to Miss Jessel,
Yeah, he's not wrong. He's like, they're rich people and we work for them.
Well, he's more specifically, they're rich. They work for Henry, who is a rich, white, English-born, wealthy lawyer. And Peter is Scottish and Miss Jessel is black. So he's telling her, he's never going to give you the internship that's going to lead to you becoming a lawyer. He's never going to do that because it's not going to look right with his crowd. Same way he's never going to do it for me, because if in like upper crust London, Scottish is lowborn.
Right. So their plan is we're going to steal a bunch of money and go to America.
We're gonna rob this guy who's never gonna give us the opportunities we deserve anyway.
We're going to go to America where there's no racism. You know, where we took care of racism here in America.
Well,
there's zero racism here.
What he says is in America there's no gatekeeping outside of money, which is still only partially true.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we solved it, Tom.
We solved it. Yeah,
it.
there's no racism. This show takes place in 1987, by the way.
Yeah, when there's no racism.
I mean, I can see why Peter Quint would look at the Reagan 80s and be like, "We got to go there."
Yeah. They also have to go to America because otherwise it's going to be really hard to explain why these siblings are suddenly very romantic with each other.
Well, I mean, this was his plan before they died.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So what are those kids going to do?
I think his plan now is just we need to inhabit bodies so we can leave.
We need
Bly
a life
Manor.
raft. Yeah,
exactly.
we need to get the fuck out of here.
Because the ghosts can't leave the grounds because they're all tied to the woman in white. It's
Yeah.
the woman in white's story. Like her fucking flat out rage created a nexus in this house that retains spirits. It's like that's the reason there's ghosts.
This is the Flanagan stuff that I'm like, nom 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 nom. Give me because he's like Stephen King with this, where he creates a version of ghosts that isn't just heaven and hell. They have unfinished business.
It's all based on emotion. Yeah, in this one.
Yeah, and he always thinks up new reasons for ghosts to exist. Again, like The Shining, where they're like, it's memories, it's an echo. They're not real, but they're real to people who are shining,
who have the.
So, like in The Shining, you could argue there's no ghosts. They're not ghosts. It's just memories that are.
The house has a power.
Yes. But it's more vague. It's more unique, and this is the same way where it's like they describe this one ghost as having like her own gravity, where she didn't even have that hard of a time, to be honest, but like she's just so angry and so bitter, and she was put. It's really neat. Like she gets sick, her sister kills her, marries the husband.
After she clings, she has like tuberculosis, but she clings to life for like 6 years. Yeah, like they do a good
job, like an old cat, like one of those old cats that you're like, just die.
They do a good job of really driving home like how willful this person is. Like her will is incredibly strong.
And so they pack all her fine. This is in a time where having fine linen was like having gold. They pack it in a suitcase, a trunk, whatever. It's all the same. It's a box. It's a fancy box.
Very different image, but sure.
Fancy box. And her soul just sort of exists in there, and she's waiting for her daughter.
Exactly. She's bound to it because she was so. Again, they drive home that she's so willful.
And her last wish was like, give my shit to my daughter.
Right. It's to give her daughter this meaty inheritance.
Yeah.
She's finally let go of she says something like she finally let go of all the vanity of it. And she's like, look, I'm just going to continue. I'm going to allow myself to waste away, but I want all my finery to go to my daughter when she grows up.
And instead, the trunk opens, revealing her sister who killed her, who's about to sell the shit. So she's just like, she sees her murderer, immediately starts choking her out, as one would do.
Mm-hmm. She like gets the ring ghosted, though, like her.
Yeah. But they show it from both perspectives, which is what I really like. Yeah. Is they show that like when she's in the trunk, it's just like a bedroom. And she just sleeps and wakes up and walks around and goes back to bed. She's
locked in there. It's another aspect of the show where you get tucked away into a memory. She's trapped in this small space for an indeterminate. It's years.
Yes, and
it's kind of a maddening hell. So it hones her will, which we already know is considerable because she's so focused on seeing her daughter again when her daughter opens the chest, and she's so excited to give this shit to her.
Right. And it makes the ghosts out to be like, it's like emotional energy that sort of exists in certain objects or places.
Yeah.
And size doesn't matter. And so then her murderer opens the thing, so she chokes her ass out. The husband finds the sister dead and is like, I'm going to put this, I'm not going to deal with this trunk. There's something wrong with this trunk.
Dead in an unspeakable manner.
Yeah.
She looks like the Ring. Like it's
the Ring. Yeah, she gets the ringed.
She gets the ringed. So her husband throws the trunk into the lake.
Yeah, which is understandable.
It's completely understandable. Like he's like, I think this thing is haunted.
Right. But had he just held on to it, gave it to his daughter, none of this would have happened.
No,
but he doesn't know that. So
I mean, the ghost might have continued to exist, but she wouldn't have been pissed.
Yeah. So she exists at the bottom of this lake. And basically every night, or not, I don't know if it's every night. It's like
not every night.
Every now and then, she rises from the lake, goes to her room, and looks for her daughter, and then goes back into the lake.
And then walks back into the lake, yeah. And she walks a very tight circuit, and if you get in her path,
she's gonna snatch you up.
She's just like like you said, the energy of the emotion. It's just it's will and it's sadness and it's rage. So like anything that gets in front of her, she just fucking murders.
Right, and if she sees a child in the bed, which she does once, she takes it into the lake.
She carries it back with her into the lake.
Doesn't work out for the child. The weirdest part was when she goes through when the house is used for the plague. There's just like people dying of the plague, and she's walking throughout. No one's saying anything to her, which was weird, except for the plague doctor.
Well, it's understandable because she hasn't. There's another.
Also,
element.
Those people are busy dying.
They're busy dying. They're busy dealing with a plague, she doesn't look weird yet. There's another element here we haven't discussed,
and that's what I want to get into because that's the creepiest part of this.
I really, really like it.
Me too.
Like conceptually, it's a great idea.
So another thing this show does, because this is explained in the second to last episode. So what we're seeing is this faceless woman doing this walk in a house, and we don't know why she's doing it. We also see a little boy without a face, and at first
we see her sister too, but we don't know that it's her.
Right.
All the ghosts
they
are
look like
faceless.
dolls.
Except for Peter and Miss Jessel, all of the ghosts are weird faceless things.
Right. And what we learn is that as time goes on, they basically erode because they forget the way people forget.
Yeah, they forget what they look like. They forget what their names are. They forget how to speak.
They don't know what they're even doing. They just do it instinctual.
It's I really like the idea of that. It's when you're trapped in this endless cycle for eternity, you're going to forget everything.
Yeah.
Like you won't remember what you looked like. You won't remember who you were. You won't remember why you were doing the things you were doing. It's just like the lady in the lake. She is just driven by pure emotion. She doesn't even remember what her kid looks like. She just remembers that she's going to walk up there and look for a kid. And if there's a kid there, that's mine. Right.
And the final thing we haven't talked about is that one of the characters in this turns out to be dead, which is I know why they did it, but I have a lot of questions about that shit.
Oh, that's one of my favorite elements.
Miss Jessel, right?
Miss Gross.
Miss Gross?
Yeah, Miss Jessel is the governess. Who is dead. Miss Gross is the housekeeper.
Right.
And she's dead from the instant we meet her, which I thought was really cool. Because when we meet her in the first episode, when Danny, the new governess, shows up at the house, she's standing at a well, looking down in the well, clearly absent, or it's upset's not even really the right word. She's absent, just staring down into this well, and Miles is standing behind her. And then when Danny comes up, she like sort of snaps out of it. She's like, "Oh, you must be the," and then just continues on. And it turns out that moments before, Miles, possessed by Peter, shoved her into the well and killed her.
Right.
So she's a ghost the entire time we see her.
Yeah, and she's also skipping around. There's parts where she's like, "Oh, sorry, I was miles away." It's because she's skipping through.
She's getting drawn into memories. Yeah.
The thing that confuses me is why people can hang out and interact with her and touch her.
I think it's
not notice.
It's Sixth Sense rules. She's not accepting the fact that she's dead.
All right.
She hasn't had that moment.
That's
okay, go ahead.
I think they're at that point we're doing the work for him because they don't explain that.
They do.
Peter Quint has the opposite thing where if you touch him, you go right through.
Unless he's concentrating.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just the Hannah stuff felt I like it. I know why it's in there, but logically speaking, it's very weird that a ghost can just because it means that like anybody who dies and doesn't know it just like hangs out. We don't notice. It's just weird. It's a weird. I like what they were trying to do. It's just the rules for that are very weird.
Yeah, I mean, she's not hanging out in a pleasant way. Like, she keeps getting drawn into memories that are years apart. And the specific one she keeps getting drawn to is when she's interviewing Owen, the cook.
Yeah. When we see it from her perspective, it's one thing.
It's bewildering, yeah.
But she's like doing her job.
She's trying to.
Like, she's like doing stuff. She's hanging out with them. They're having... Yeah. It's just weird that she's just functioning as a human the entire time.
It made sense it clicked with me. And here's I'll do my best to explain how I reconcile that it made sense to me. When we see Peter die, he is able to hold on. Like, the first inkling we get is that Flora tries to hand him a doll and it passes through his hands, and then he's like, "No, wait, no," and then he concentrates and he's able to pick it up. Right. And then he turns around and he sees his own dead body and he's confronted with the fact that he's dead.
Right.
When Miss Gross dies, she's in the middle of that realization. Like, she's looking down into the well at her dead body when Danny shows up and drags her out of it. So she's not...
hold on. By the way, I don't think... Yeah, she's... When they see her looking down the well, that isn't when she just died.
Yes, it is.
I thought that's when the kid is like, "You idiot, you're dead."
No, that's later.
And she's seeing... Oh, I thought that was...
No, that's on the night. That's on the very last night.
Okay.
It's in the middle of the night. He takes her out there. That's on the night where they're finally going to take over the two kids, and they tie Danny up, and Danny gets snatched by the woman in the lake.
All right. Well, go on about...
we see it at the end of episode 5. Like, it ends after... Miles / Peter shoves her in the well and she's looking down, and Danny walks up literally seconds later.
Okay.
So I think her moment of realization was interrupted, so that's a reason why she's sliding so chaotically. Like, she's more chaotically going from memory to memory than the other ghosts are.
That's fine. And like, her perspective makes sense to me. Again, it's Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense. It's a dreamlike logic. Mm-hmm. He doesn't necessarily know how he gets somewhere. What I don't understand is how because in The Sixth Sense, only the child can see Bruce Willis.
They make it clear in the series that the ghosts can make themselves visible to whomever they want.
Yes.
And it's not even to specific people. It's just they can decide to make themselves visible or not. Period.
It's still very weird to me that I think she existed for like weeks or however long this takes.
Oh yeah,
as a ghost.
Yeah,
and it never came up. No one ever noticed anything weird about that because she's skipping through, so she's not like with it at any given moment.
Right. She does come across as frazzled.
Yes.
In the show before then, but you just assume it's because she's been trying to sort of care for these kids in this house in the middle of just a crazy series of events.
Right.
We also notice that she never eats.
Right.
She doesn't hang out with them.
She doesn't. She's not hungry. Other stories have pulled this off. This person is a ghost the whole time, which is why I can like accept it in this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot. It's a weird, like, I think people are sick of they were dead the whole time twists, and I think this one is a big ask.
I don't think so.
What's that?
I didn't think so.
I mean, I accepted it.
It wasn't one of those twists where it's like, oh my God, my mind's blown. Like, It's a twist where it's like, oh, that's really sad.
Yeah. Oh, it's very well. They do it. That's the thing, is the way they do it is really good.
Yeah,
because it's all about her, like in Mr. Mustache, who the internet loves, Owen, and they clearly have like a thing going on, and he's talking about bringing her to like Paris and shit, and their future, and it's the realization of no, she doesn't have a future.
She can't leave.
Dead.
Yeah, she's dead.
And the reason, I think the very important reason she's there is to show the beginnings of the erosion. Because she's saying to herself, you are Hannah Gross.
It's
the year
1987.
1987.
Miles is 10, Flora is 7. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's clearly like trying to keep it together for that reason, because she knows over time she's just going to slowly fall apart. And so she's a very sad character for that reason.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the idea, is we're seeing these ghosts panic because they know what's going to happen to them over time. They're going to be entrapped in this hell. It's a cool idea.
Yes.
It's a really cool idea.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think there's some extra pieces that could have been chopped off here and there.
Yeah.
It could have been more focused. Again, we haven't talked about the uncle in his episode, because that episode, it's true. Like what happened to the parents is ultimately moot.
It kind of
parents. It's the details of their death. Him actually being the girl's father.
Mm-hmm.
It's good character stuff for him.
It's great. It's great character stuff. It makes and it's very. This is why I would argue
it's good for the ending with him.
It's good for the ending. It perfectly matches and continues to solidify the tone of the story. Right. Is it this story is a tragedy.
It's also very Stephen King, in that Stephen King goes into a lot of detail about characters.
It gives you that, and that's he has argued. I think he says in his book on writing, people deride it as superfluous sometimes because it ultimately doesn't really affect the plot so much. But he's like, but this is the good stuff. Like this is what makes you care about the characters and get invested in what's happened to them. I
understand that, except that I think that there's other things that they could have gone into instead.
Yeah,
that's where I'm like, I get what you're saying, is that characters and people matter. So doing episodes about the people, no matter how, like, even if they're a side character, matters. But there were certain things that I feel like they could have done a little more of and a little less of. Like, I don't think I needed the alternate dad or uncle. I don't think I needed Harry Potter ghost. I do need episodes talking about their lives.
I didn't, like,
but it almost felt like they wanted it to be creepier.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, I could have just had an episode without any ghosts in it, without any things in it. It would have been fine.
Yeah, and then that's kind of there's ghosts in the bent neck lady.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of like the point of that episode. I don't, like I said earlier, I appreciated Evil Twin Uncle just because it gave us a more dynamic way to do that bit of storytelling.
Yeah.
Otherwise would have just been him drinking a glass of scotch, staring at some photograph or some piece of paper, and then going into a flashback.
Right.
I appreciated having this fucking avatar that he's created for himself. Like, he's punishing himself with this thing.
Yeah.
Explain the events of what happened between him and his brother, fucking Garth Marenghi.
Right. We didn't mention Garth Marenghi in this.
We didn't mention the fact that the dead father is Garth Marenghi.
It's fucking weird. We also haven't mentioned the gardener, which is funny because she's the one telling the entire goddamn story.
Yeah. Yep.
We haven't mentioned the romance. Basically, the main lady, the nanny, gets into a romantic relationship with the gardener.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also a part that I really enjoyed. This thought was creepy as fuck.
It's creepy and it's devastating.
Yes. The idea is that at the end, they do a great job with this. All the ghost stuff is happening, and it's like ghost drama and whatnot. And then she turns around and just gets snatched by the Lady of the Lake, and you're like, "Oh no!" And then the episode ends, and then they go into the second to last episode is
It's just about the lady in the lake, yeah.
yes, which I enjoyed that episode a lot. And then
it was
okay,
it was really good. Like there's all that heated drama. She's escaped from the attic. She's running away with Flora. Miles is off somewhere possessed by Peter. She's like, no, we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to find Miles. And then the lady in the lake pops up like, you thought I forgot? Like we hadn't thought about her for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was a very effective jump scare. Like she's just there.
I have a question. I don't think it's a plot hole. I just don't remember. What? Oh no, I remember. Never mind. So basically, what happens is the lady in the lake is
She's on her
choking
circuit.
out.
She's walking her
She's
circuit.
on her circuit. The little girl, in order to save the nanny, gets into the bed. So the lady in the lake sees the little girl, grabs the little girl, and starts going to the lake. And so now we have to save the little girl. And the nanny is basically, because this is what I was going to ask, is how she knew to do this. It's because she was tied up and watched all them talk about it. Mm-hmm. She volunteers to merge the way the little kids were going to merge with the ghosts with the lady in the lake.
Yeah.
And that's what saves the day. She absorbs the lady in the lake. Mm-hmm. And she inhabits her body. And I'm not quite sure what the rules here are. I don't care because I like the idea. Is that she's able to kind of suppress her. Mm-hmm. And her and the gardener just start living their life together.
They have like over 10 years of a relationship.
Yep. And the idea is she knows at any point that the lady in the lake will become the dominant.
Yeah, she knows eventually the ghost is going to take her over because the ghost is too strong.
And while I don't understand the details, I don't really care. I don't get why when the ghost takes over, it's not just like, hey, I'm the ghost now. Like, I don't know why she wants to go to the lake. I guess it's because she's so broken, the soul, that's all she knows.
Oh, you mean ultimately why she goes there?
Yeah, I assume it's because
I assume
the
it's
ghost...
she's blended with her a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so she's still... And basically, we go through this, like, sequence of them just living happily, and you love it.
It's not even a sequence. It's an entire episode.
You're right, it is. And the whole episode is basically them living as a couple and being in love and getting married, even though they can't legally get married.
Yeah, they get married in spirit. It's the 90s. They
and she
couldn't
keeps
get married.
Right, and she keeps seeing the lady's reflection, and she knows, like,
it starts to become more and more creepy.
And it's like she has an illness. That's the idea. Is they treat it like a terminal illness that she has.
Right. That's right. The gardener
slow.
keeps saying, however much time, we'll take it a day at a time, however much time we have left, I want to spend all of it with you.
And then one day she's gone.
She's gone. Yep.
She wakes up and she's gone. And the gardener goes to the Bly Manor one last time, sees her at the bottom of the lake, tries to get her to take her and can't. And then, of course, we learn that the elderly woman... who isn't really elderly.
Right, she's like 50-year-old Carla Gugino.
Yeah, exactly. She's smoking.
Yeah.
She has been telling the story. She's the gardener. The wedding is of the little girl.
It's Flora's wedding, yeah.
Yeah, she's getting married to Mark from the room. The
important thing is that Flora and Miles don't remember anything. It's very it. Like the kids don't remember anything.
Right. And so like she's telling basically their own story to
and they
her.
don't know it.
Yeah. And then at the end she goes to her hotel room and she fills up the bathtub and she's looking for that reflection, and the reveal is she's looking for her lost love still. And then she fucking goes to sleep with the door cracked open, hoping that her
in a chair facing the door.
Yeah. And it's sad.
It's sad as fuck. Like Marina was crying openly at the end of this.
Moral is, don't watch this in a day and then finish it at 3 a.m. and be like, well, time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Because it's sad.
It's not scary. It's profoundly sad.
Unlike, and this is, I think, the biggest disappointment I've heard from people. It's not a quality thing. It's unlike, like what The Haunting of Hill House. What's interesting about The Haunting of Hill House is it actually ends with, you know what? Being a ghost is all right.
Kind
more
of.
Or less.
I think
more or less.
I think if that's your takeaway, you're watching it wrong.
Sure. But it ends in a little more like love wins type of way.
Right. It's bittersweet, but like the family is still mostly intact.
And like
the
it's a
da-
sacrifice.
the dad
opposed
gave
to-
himself up
Yeah.
to save the rest of the family, but the rest of the family's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being a ghost is cool, you know?
Well,
Being a ghost is cool. I ended up being like, I want to be a ghost.
no. You didn't watch that show correctly, Dave. I think you need to watch it again.
No, I'm going out with that.
Like
but
no,
yeah,
the dad agreeing to be a ghost in the end of Hill House to save the family is Lawrence Fishburne blowing up the ship and going to hell to save his crew
Right.
in Event Horizon. Like that's
then
what
he gets
it is.
cool. Yeah, he gets cool doom powers.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know? Feel like welcome to hell. Here's your
Doom powers.
Yeah. Here's your BFG.
Yeah, fuck, man. If they give me guns in hell, I'll be fine.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, it's just kind of a bummer ending. Shit. Oh yeah, I had one question. Is it just for financial reasons that she can't just live at Bly Manor?
What do you mean?
The gardener, the love of her life is in the bottom of Bly Manor, right? And presumably she gets up and walks the grounds, and they say, but she's not angry anymore.
She doesn't get up.
Oh, really? I thought she still wandered. I thought they said she still walks around, but she's not like choke slamming anybody.
That might have been the case.
I could have sworn they said she still gets up and strolls.
I know they did the thing where she would not. She wouldn't accept the gardener's invitation to inhabit her body, and she would never accept anyone's invitation ever again. And she just sat there until her face until she forgot who she was,
Right.
and just slipped into non-existence, which is part of what makes it so devastatingly sad.
Right. They say no one's going to get trapped there anymore, but I could have sworn she still like walks around because she's still partially the other ghost. I don't know. Either way, I mean, I would just try to live at Bly Manor, right?
The idea is that she's holding the Lady in the Lake in check, basically.
Yeah. But would you?
No, I wouldn't.
No?
No, I would never go back to that place.
But it's a nice place now, and you got your loved one right there in the lake.
It's not a nice place. It's a bombed out hovel. You remember?
Anytime
It's like overgrown. Nobody's owned it.
Right. So you clean it out, and then anytime you need to see your loved one, you just jump in that lake.
Jump in the
quick.
lake and look at her fucking rotten ass skeleton. Yeah, sure, man.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't appeal to me at all.
All right.
I would never want to see this place again if I was anyone involved in this story.
The ending is the hope that her ghost will show up. She leaves the door open. She keeps looking in the reflection.
And the ghost does show up. Puts a hand on her shoulder at the very end when she falls asleep.
Oh, I missed that. That's
you
cute.
did? Oh yeah, no, that's how it ends. It's like panning out from behind her as she's sleeping in the chair in front of the cracked door, and you see a hand wearing their wedding ring lay on her shoulder.
Is she going to wake her up?
No, I think she's just. It's the idea is that.
Man, I'd be pissed if she didn't wake me up.
Well, again, it's like we were talking about, like Flanagan's this particular project is about the emotions that death creates and carries with it. Mm-hmm. And I think there's also a couple of ghosts in this series that are not literal ghosts.
Yes.
So I think the idea of that is just the people you love are always with you, even when they're gone, because you loved them and you remember them.
But they're also in a lake that you can just drive to.
But they're also in a lake. Yeah, sure.
You can just go fish their body out, and then you got them.
Sure.
Then you got their body.
Yeah, and then you got a fucking ghost husk.
Yeah. You got a free ghost husk.
You just jump on it until a ghost pops out.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I would, if I was that gardener, I would get into some dark magic. Because
I don't know.
Here's the thing. Is that like I mean, no. I understand. I understand how shows work. But like there's so much lore. I would just assume I could get some sort of Necronomicon action going, right?
Right.
Like, because it's like there's so much weird lore to being dead in this that I'd be like, well, shit, I'm going to go to Bly Manor. I'm going to figure this out.
But
I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get a bunch of like psychics involved. I'm going to figure this out.
Dave, everything we've seen in this show is that being a ghost sucks, is hellish, is a fate worse than being dead.
Right.
why would you try to find a way to further inflict that on the love of your life?
I'm not trying to inflict it. I would try to save her from her watery tomb.
Sure.
Like maybe she can inhabit a child. Or
Man,
like,
you and I took entirely different lessons from this episode.
Sure.
Or rather, this series.
I'm just saying, there's some dark magic that she could probably get into that would figure this out. Because, like, the big revelation coming out of this is ghosts in the afterlife exist, and it's complicated. It's oddly
extremely complicated, yeah.
And so I'd be like, well, surely there's someone who can figure this out, right? It's like fixing a car or something. It's like there's a lot of moving parts, but like it's not impossible. Surely there's some like spiritual guides who are like, oh yeah, I know exactly what this is. All right, let me just kill this chicken, spread its blood over here, do a couple of things over here. Bam, you got. She's back.
Blood orgy in the chapel. Sure.
Blood orgy in the chapel. Yeah.
There's one more Easter egg I wanted to point out.
Sure.
Peter is played by the same guy who played Luke in Hill House and The Invisible Man. Yeah, I forget.
I should probably learn his name.
It's Owen something, I think.
Hold on.
Oliver.
Oh, is he British?
He's
Oliver Jackson Cohen.
He's British as hell. Okay, Oliver Jackson Cohen.
Yeah, that's really fucking British.
Okay. In Hill House, he gets a very pronounced cut on his left cheek. For most of the series, because most of the series takes place in the course of like 2 days, even though there's a ton of flashbacks, but the actual action of the story is about 2 days.
Right.
Peter, who he plays in Bly Manor, has a scar on his left cheek. That is where the cut is that Luke gets in Hill House. Yeah.
The actor doesn't just have a scar, does he? Maybe
he does, but
I'm looking at his pretty face. I don't see a scar.
Yeah, it's an interesting coincidence.
Oh wait, how big of a scar?
It's not big.
Yeah, I think he has a scar.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so it looks like they just used that scar in Hill House.
Yeah, I think he's a real Harrison Ford type.
Cool.
It's under his eye? Is that what you're thinking?
No,
of?
It's on his cheek.
It's on his cheek under his eye, which I guess is where the cheek is. Now that I say it out loud, I don't know. I'm really looking at his face now.
Yeah, it might just be. It is lower than his eye line, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it might. I can't tell.
It is not underneath his eye.
Tom, I need you to Wikipedia him for a second. I need you to tell me if that's a scar, because it might just be a wrinkle. What I'm looking at.
Okay, let's check it out. Guys, you're listening to this in real time.
Yeah, we're not cutting any of this. All right, look at his picture.
Oliver Jackson. There we go.
See that? You see that? Is that the scar?
No, it's not.
Okay.
That's just like a facial thing.
Okay, I was wrong. Now I'm really close on his face. Dude's got some eyebrows on him.
Yeah, he does. He got some serious eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good. I like him in Invisible Man. He's a good villain.
Yeah, which is funny because he's so... The first thing I saw him in, obviously, was Hill House, where he's such a sweet, tragic man that you're really... Like, when in the last episode of Hill House, where it seems like he's dead, you're, like, devastated by it.
Right.
And then, by the way, the next two things I've seen him in are The Invisible Man and Bly Manor, where he's just a fucking evil bastard. Right.
There's a lot of repeat roles in this, by the way. It's Nell. Nell is the main character.
Victoria Pedretti, yeah.
Yeah, and she's... I don't know. I like her.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, Henry Thomas is the uncle in this.
Yeah, we're never going to stop seeing Henry Thomas.
Flanagan puts Henry Thomas in every single project.
Every fucking thing.
Yeah.
He played Jack Torrance in Dr. Sleep.
He did. I didn't recognize him. I did not recognize him until after the movie, and I looked it up. I was like, that was Henry Thomas?
Yeah. He did such a good job. That's the hardest role of that series, or of that movie, I think. Because you're expected to play a role everybody knows.
Yeah.
And he played it well. He didn't just do a Jack Nicholson impression.
No.
Good on him.
Obviously, Carla Gugino. Yep. I think that might be all of the... Oh, no, wait. No, Kate Siegel plays the lady in the lake.
Yes, that was a nice little cameo.
Mm-hmm.
She gets an episode.
Yeah, she plays Theo in Hill House.
Yeah.
And is also married to Mike Flanagan, so she tends to pop up in his movies.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah, like I think she's in Dr. Sleep, too. I'm not positive.
Sure.
But yeah, she's the deaf lady in Hush.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was good. I'm curious to know. I've had a small sample size. And so far, I know one person who wasn't impressed by The Haunting of Hill House being not impressed by this. And then I know someone who is a fan of The Haunting of Hill House who wasn't impressed by this.
Interesting.
So,
I can see that if you're going into this, even though I think the story is very similar. It's just not like the Hill House leaned harder into horror.
Here's the thing, is that The Haunting of Hill House came first because it was probably the story he wanted to tell, right? Like, that's the story that he was more excited about, that he had a better idea of, that I do think is the stronger story. And I
think so, but this one is still such a,
I like
my
this
opinion,
one.
such an incredibly effective story that's...
But again, we're both all over his knob, Mike Flanagan's knob. We love Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't done wrong for me. I enjoy the Ouija sequel.
The Ouija sequel is good.
I'm just a fan of Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
And I think I keep comparing him to Stephen King because, like Stephen King, you could be a big fan of him. That doesn't mean it's all necessarily good.
Right.
Especially with Stephen King. More than Mike, because I do think Mike Flanagan has a better average. Stephen King has some real dumb shit.
Well, Stephen King has also done, I mean, Flanagan's done about 10 projects. Stephen King's done probably 100.
Right. So give Flanagan time. He'll do. I'm excited for Mike Flanagan's
Maximum
remake
Overdrive.
of Maximum Overdrive. Yeah. But
I think Flanagan's next movie is another King adaptation. It's Revival.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I hope I like his King adaptations, but I'd rather him do his own stuff because I think the similarity is they both take big swings plot wise. At the same time, though, like a lot of this is stuff that's been done before. That's the other thing I like about Mike Flanagan is that he'll do a movie about a haunted mirror, and it's like, oh, you in every goddamn horror movie. But Oculus
But then he does shit with it, yeah.
Yeah, he does shit with it. And then you're like, oh, I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah.
Or what an interesting way to do that. So
like watch Absentia or In Absentia. It's his first movie. It was kickstarted. It's very low budget, but you can see like it's just such a weird, creepy idea, and the way he uses his budget is very, very very impressive. You can watch that movie and be like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be somebody.
Right.
And actually, I think the lead actress in Absentia plays the conniving sister in Bly Manor. Like he used.
Oh, interesting.
And I think she was also like the old flapper ghost in a Hill House. Like he uses this. He uses the same people a lot.
Yeah, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, he likes his people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So this is why I'm saying that this is probably like if I had to recommend either The Haunting of Hill House or The Haunting of Bly Manor, I would recommend Hill House.
It'd be Hill
because,
House, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that made them go, oh, make another one. And I hope he makes a third.
Yeah, we'll see.
I enjoy these every time. All 2 times they've come out. Like I've said to you, I put on The Haunting of Hill House as like my relaxation show. Like the way I put on Star Trek TNG, I'll pop on an episode of The Haunting of Hill House.
That's weird, man.
Because it just kind of relaxes me.
That's weird that you do that. Not because it's scary, but just because it's like an emotionally devastating thing to watch.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just thinking about all the cool ghost powers.
I mean, there's cool ghost stuff in it, sure.
Getting to be a ghost and like getting to zap people with your ghost powers, you know.
Sure, yeah, no, that's
what it's all about.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
Yeah, you get to float around while holding a cane. You're having a great time.
You have your boss ass cane, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Any other thoughts?
No, just that this is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope people watched it before listening to this because we were all over the fucking place.
Yeah, we were kind of scattered, but like I don't know, it's a 9-episode series. What do you want us to do, man?
Yeah, what the fuck do you want us to do?
What do you expect from us, man? It's fucking 9 hours of television.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
What the fuck, guys? All right. Well, I guess I'll tell people about our Patreon. That's patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We have other things. You can watch movies with us every Friday night. It's great. It's a great time.
Yeah, check it out. We also have a store, tpublic.com/store/gamefully-unemployed. We can get t-shirts, masks, mugs, stickers, all kinds of shit. Check that out.
Check it out. Check it out. Check it out.
Zero ghosts, as far as I know.
They could be haunted.
I mean, it could be haunted as fuck, and I just am not paying attention.
Right, by like shitty ghosts who don't know how to haunt right.
Yeah, real crummy ghosts.
Yeah, you hear me, you fucking ghosts?
You don't want to be haunted by these ghosts. They're real scrubs.
If you're worth anything, ghosts, I want you to haunt the shit out of our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling upon you and the devil. I'm saying it right now.
No, the glorious powers of our Dark Lord Satan, please.
I'm invoking all the ghosts to haunt the people listening to this right now.
Now. There it is.
Now.
There it is. There it is.
All right. You're welcome.
Enjoy your haunted week.
Yep.